Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. So today we get to take a look at this brand new 2023 Cadillac CT5 Luxury. Huge shout out and thank you to Randy Marion Cadillac for providing this sedan for me today. Check out their website, that link is down in the description. So this CT5 is finished off in a brand new color. This is called Midnight Steel Metallic, and it has an MSRP just over $47,000. Underneath the hood, you'll find the 2-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged engine. It's paired to the 10-speed automatic transmission, and it pumps out 237 horsepower, 258 pound-feet of torque. That power is sent to the rear wheels. However, you can opt for all-wheel drive. This weighs in right around 3,600 pounds. It'll do 0 to 60 in 4.9 seconds with a top speed of 156 miles an hour. It also has a fuel capacity of 17 gallons, so you'll expect to see around 23 miles per gallon in the city, 33 out on the highway. This also has a wheelbase of 116 inches. Its overall length is 193.8. It has a width of 74.1 and a height of 57.2 inches. As we move on to the exterior styling now for this CT5, let's start off with the Cadillac emblem front and center, because that is also the forward-facing sensor. So for the adaptive cruise and the rest of the forward technology, very cool to see that incorporated into the badge itself. Now for the rest of the grille, you will see these brushed aluminum accents that have a point to them in the lower section, just like a V badge. So while this isn't the V model for the CT5, it is pretty cool to see that still retained. There's also plenty of cutouts to provide a lot of cooling to that engine, both in the middle grille and in the entire lower section. You will also notice forward-facing sensors, and then for these LED headlights, DRLs, and turn signals, currently you can see the DRL strip. It's in the vertical position. That is also the turn signal. That is nothing new from Cadillac. I think it's a great look to see the bodywork separating both of those housings. And you'll notice more of that trim just underneath them going towards the middle, just to tie them in a little nicer, along with the gloss black in the middle section of the bumper. Now for the hood, there are some lines that come down it, which look very nice, meeting the gloss black section of the upper part of the grille. You'll notice the lower section is finished off in a little bit different of a trim color. So it brings it in nicely, gives it a great look for this luxury focused sedan. Now for the side, this is more of a base model. It has the 18-inch wheels. I think they have a great look to them, especially with this all new color. Now for these side mirrors, these are power folding. They have the turn signal along with a two-tone design to them. This has a full moonroof. You can see more of that trim surrounding all of the windows, and a prominent line just underneath the side view mirrors. It goes from the headlight housing all the way back to the taillights. And there's another line in the lower side skirt. So it gives it a really good look from the side. Now as we work our way to the rear, you'll see the Cadillac emblem along with the backup camera, all the parking sensors, as well as the reverse light right in the middle with the dual exhaust on both sides. And this does have the optional remote start system. So if I lock the vehicle and then double tap this button, we can bring this to life. And then if you just hold on this button, you can shut it off for whatever reason. From there, we have lock and unlock. You will see all the lights appear when I hit unlock. And if I use the button on the key fob twice now, you will see the trunk release, or you can use the button that's located by the backup camera. Now, as far as interior storage goes, for a normal family style sedan, definitely plenty of room. You can see a storage bin on that passenger side. There's some battery access and components on that left side. And then you can actually fold the back seats down. So of course that gives you a lot more interior storage, as well as placing items up underneath the floor. So you have some additional hidden storage space. And then there's one grab handle. It's over on the passenger side. It's a very light trunk, which makes it easy to close. So as we work our way to the back seats, you'll notice too that on all of the door handles, there's ambient lighting. So you will of course see that much better at nighttime. The door handles also have a two-tone design to them. Now for this door panel, you can see leather along with stitching. Really cool brushed trim piece just behind the release handle. Lock and unlock is in front of that, and we have the 9-speaker audio sound system. A little bit of storage space in the bottom of that door too. And then the leather continues its way to these seats, where at 5'10", I can hop into the back. I do have the front seat set at my height, so as you can tell, plenty of room. There's storage pockets, air vents, even some auxiliaries if you need to use those. And as far as headroom goes, my head is just up against the headliner, but it is comfortable. I could definitely go for a cruise in the back seat and be fine with 2 other people next to me. So it is spacious for full-size adults, and you do get your own sunroof for your backseat passengers. Now, right in the middle, we have the armrest along with 2 cup holders if you need to use that. And as far as visibility goes, pillar's pretty thin, what you would expect in a sedan like this. So it provides a lot of light, as well as being able to see, of course. We'll take another look once we enter the front seats here. Now for this door panel, same as the rear. However, you have the addition of the trunk release, all the window controls, and side mirror adjustments. Everything else is virtually identical. And then for the power seats, we have that V logo right in the middle, and a nice design to them, all the automatic adjustments, and then another Cadillac emblem is down on the door sill. It's just as easy to enter these front seats, of course. And for the steering wheel, it's completely covered in a solid black leather. And you will see on this left side, we have all of the adaptive cruise control settings, heated steering wheel, Bluetooth, and voice commands. On this right side, there's volume, and all of these are for the digital gauge cluster. So let's fire this back up. With my foot on the brake, we can bring this to life. And looking at this gauge cluster, on the left side is the tach and the fuel level, right side is miles per hour and the engine temperature, and then right in the middle in the upper section, that is fixed info, where you can see the temperature, miles per hour, and the clock. And then underneath that, I can use the buttons on the right side of the steering wheel to further go through all of this info. So you can monitor all these stats as needed, just depending on what you would like to see for the day. Driver assistance, you have some other engine data. If I scroll over now, you can go into music. You can also pull up the navigation when you have that on and running, as well as phone. And then for settings, you can go through this various information just to set this up the way that you would like to. So not a ton of information, but it is very usable to be able to monitor all of this and have it front and center. Now on the left side of the steering wheel, you will see the electronic parking brake along with a dimmer switch, a little bit of a storage bin there if you want to place any items. This also has the steering wheel mounted paddle shifters, which are finished off in black. There's more leather and stitching on the dash. And then right in the middle for this touchscreen system, in the lower section, you will see all of these presets. So if I click on home at the moment, it will pull up with these icons where you can see audio and phone. You can go into your Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, look at different apps. You can even pull up the split screen view. So this is showing music and your phone. And if I go over one more, you can get into your climates as well as My Cadillac and some other OnStar services. Now in the lower section, there's shortcuts to your music and phone, as well as navigation and the climates. So if you aren't on those screens, it's very easy and quick to get to those, where you can adjust temperature, fan speed, sync everything. You have all of those adjustments. It's a very easy system to go through. You will notice too that it's tilted away from the driver, but it still has a good angle to it, and you can clearly read everything on that screen. Right in the middle, there is a physical button for home, so if you don't want to reach that far, you can quickly get to that button. You can also use everything down below to further go through that. So if I want to get into the music, I can just push on that. I can push on phone, or I can use the home icon along with the rotary dial to further go through that info. And then right in front of that, there's power and volume for the radio, as well as tuning. So it's nice, you can use it depending on what works best for you. Now there's 2 air vents underneath this metallic-y trim piece, which is very nice to see. And then underneath that, you will notice all of these toggles come to another point. So it has that V-shaped design. And then on the left side, you can see on and off for the climates, as well as where you would like the temperature to go. Right side, there's defrosters, as well as sync and AC. And then in the middle, you can see more V logos for the fan speed, as well as the dual zone temperature that are very easy to adjust. Now these seats are heated and ventilated, so you have both of those controls, as well as your steering assist or the lane keeping assist, hazards, and the parking sensors. Now underneath that, you will see a little bit of storage where you have the wireless charging, and then a little bit more is just to the left of that. In front of the shifter, it might be a little bit hard to see with the angle of the sun, but there's the engine start stop, as well as auto hold, traction control, and then the different driving modes. So if I push on that toggle, you can see my mode along with Tour, Sport, there's even snow and ice. So it's basically just going to modulate your throttle response, since this is rear wheel drive, but it will help you in those situations if needed. Now for the shifter, the release is on this left side. If I push it all the way forwards, that engages reverse, where you can see the backup camera along with the guidelines. You can turn those on and off if needed. And then drive is all the way to the back. If I pull on it one more time without using the release, that puts it into the manual setting. So now you can use the paddle shifters. You cannot shift using the actual shifter itself because you will go back into drive if you pull on that. And then park is located on the top. Now on this right side, there are 2 cup holders and you can close those if needed. There's also a little bit of storage in front of this armrest. And when I open this up from the side, you will see there's a good amount of space along with some auxiliaries. You can get better access if you have a phone here to easily get it out. And then just a little bit extra storage for all of those items. Along with the glove box, you can see there's plenty of space for the items to go there. Now, as far as visibility goes from the driver's seat, you can see very open feeling. So you can clearly see over both sides. And then up in the middle, you will see the garage door buttons as well as the sunshade adjustments and sunroof adjustments. There's a easy entry and exit, the dome lights, even some OnStar controls too. As we set off now behind the wheel for this 23 Cadillac CT5, as I mentioned earlier, this has an MSRP right around $47,000. So for more of the base model entry level CT5 that this is, I think it's very nice for that sub $50,000 mark. You get a very nice luxury focused sedan without having to necessarily spend that luxury price. Now you can go all the way up to the CT5 V Blackwing, which the dealership has, but unfortunately it is sold, so we can't check that out today. So you have an array of options to go with for this luxury focused if you want a little bit more performance or you just want it as a nice daily driving, commuting type of vehicle. So with that being said, let's quickly pop it into sport mode and use the paddle shifters here, and we'll give it a minor acceleration. And just like that, we're up to speed. Nothing crazy for today in this vehicle, but it feels like it has an adequate amount of power. This is not the performance oriented version, so it's what you would expect from a 2-liter 4-cylinder. I think it's pretty healthy for the weight and for the type of driving that this vehicle is going to be doing. Now, as far as putting a few miles on this car, it is so quiet. It's so surreal on the inside. It's a Cadillac. It's what you would expect to daily drive. No road noise, wind noise. It's a nice place to be. One thing that I do wish this car offered was massaging seats. I don't know if you can get that in the higher trim levels or not, but that would just be a nice touch to your driving experience while you are behind the wheel. Now, as far as a quick 3-point turn goes, let's see how maneuverable this car is. We can just get off the road there. We have the large screen that does a great job. And I could see this being your daily driver. There's not a whole lot of buttons to go through, so it makes it easy to use. Let's do another acceleration as we are still in sport mode. And the pedals seem pretty responsive, so it's nice that you can use those if you need to drop a gear. If you're passing in traffic, that's what those would be used for. And so now from second gear, here we go. And I gotta say, this is a pretty peppy engine. Car doesn't weigh all that much, so it has some power to it. Not a crazy amount like in some of the other engine options that are available. But if you're just looking for more of an economical engine, but you still want that luxury and not necessarily performance, this is a good option to go with. So you can see what it's like to be behind the wheel of this sub $50,000 luxurious Cadillac sedan. It is so nice. I love all the materials that this one has to offer, and it just gives it a good vibe. Definitely something that's comfortable for daily driving and whatever you need to do for the week. You have plenty of space to be able to utilize this in the best ways possible. We have the nice frameless rear view mirror there, and you will notice too that the bottom of the mirror caps also have that crisp V point to them. So there's a lot of, probably a lot more hidden V badges that I haven't mentioned in today's video. including the small ones that are located on the front door handles. So you can lock and unlock this from both door handles. They have the small Cadillac badge on them. And I didn't show this, but the door handles are actually fixed. So there's a button on the inside of them that you can use in order to open the doors without the handle actually separating, which is not new from Cadillac. I think it's a nice design element to see for the exterior, along with this new paint. I think it's a very nice exterior color. And then interior jet black, which is a perfect combo. But I think that's going to wrap it up for this 2023 Cadillac CT5 luxury trim level. Once again, a huge shout out to Randy Marion Cadillac for providing this sedan for me today. Be sure to check out their website, give this video a huge thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and smash that subscribe button so you don't miss out on our daily uploads. I will see you all in the next video.